A crash in Shelby County earlier this afternoon is causing delays across Interstate 64 as crews are still dealing with the aftermath. Take a look at this. It appears that crews are working to fix part of the digital sign that's on the interstate. Now, two vehicles were involved in a crash just after 11 o'clock. It ended up blocking all lanes and the right shoulder. Trimark is estimating it'll take another 5 hours before the roadway is clear and open. And we want to inform parents and guardians that this crash is affecting traffic on other roads. Shelby County Public Schools posted on social media that buses will be delayed due to the extensive traffic along those other roads. And you're taking a live look at the traffic map showing how much red there is around that area. You can see it there. We'll continue to update you on air and online about the crash. Well, now to our top story tonight. A Kentucky public school district is facing backlash for advocating against a controversial ballot measure. A social media post calling on people to vote no on Constitutional Amendment 2. You've seen it on your ballot in November. It asks if you're in favor of allowing state lawmakers to provide funding for students outside public school systems, meaning private and charter schools. Well, Isaiah Kim Martinez has been following this story for us. So, Isaiah, get us up to speed. What's the issue now? Well,
Connie, this all starts in Somerset, Kentucky. That's actually a couple hours south of here, southeast actually of Louisville. They took down a heavily scrutinized social media post this week. Now Kentucky's Attorney General is putting all public school districts on notice, saying tax dollars cannot be used for political advocacy. This is a screenshot of the post from Pulaski County Schools on its official Facebook page, since taken down. It reads no on Amendment 2. It didn't take long for Kentucky Attorney General Russell Coleman to put out a statement saying the district broke state law. Governor Andy Beshear taking exception to the scrutiny.
Let's put this all in context. This was a Facebook post. This wasn't spending thousands of dollars on a mailer. This was a district expressing its opinion on a Facebook post.
Under state law, tax dollars cannot be used to advocate for or against public questions on a ballot. I talked about this with Kentucky Senate President Robert Stivers. What's your take on what that school district did and the notice to other school districts?
Well, public funds should be used in the education system for public education. You don't use government taxpayer dollars for political campaigns.
If passed, the amendment opens the door for public money to go toward private schools. Some say this will give parents more choices to give their child the best education. Others say this will risk cuts to public school funding.
The bottom line is the message that was put out, even if it might not have been put out in the right way, is correct. Districts like Pulaski County will be defunded through Amendment 2.
I went ahead and asked school districts across our area if they have a stance on Amendment 2. A JCPS spokesperson said, "We oppose any effort to take public funds and resources away from public schools, which educate all children, regardless of their background, family income, or special needs. We believe Constitutional Amendment 2 is one of these efforts."
Me and my colleagues wish that Jefferson County public school systems would be ultimately the most successful system it could be, but it's not been. And we've tried to change that, and that's the impetus behind Constitutional Amendment number 2.
Meanwhile, the superintendent for Bullitt County Public Schools saying, "We are highly concerned about any attempt to change over 200 years of public policy that would take public funds and funnel them to unaccountable private schools. We believe this is what Amendment 2 would do." We also heard from Hardin County Schools. They say they want individuals to be aware this is going to be on the ballot. They encourage voters to educate themselves about the possible change to the Kentucky Constitution and its impact. Connie.
And Isaiah, there's some more big news from the governor himself during his Team Kentucky update today. What did he have to say?
Certainly, Connie. Of course, many folks were talking after the Veep stakes ended. Could he potentially seek out a cabinet position within Kamala Harris's administration if she were elected? Today in his Team Kentucky update, he says he has no intentions currently of seeking out a position in the nation's capital.
All right.
I hope I did us proud. That was my goal the whole time, to make sure people were looking up to Kentucky, not down at us like they've done for for far too long. And I don't remember a time when a Kentuckian was going through this process. So it was just pretty neat to see Kentucky written with all of those other states. With that said, I don't intend to accept any position in Washington, D.C. This is where I'm supposed to be.
Beshear went on to say he's looking forward to finishing out these next 3.5 years as Kentucky's governor. Connie.
Isaiah, thank you so much. Well, today, President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris with their first official event together since Biden dropped out of the presidential race. It comes as her running mate, Tim Walz, and former President Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, have agreed to a vice presidential debate in October. ABC's Perry Russin shares the latest from the campaign trail.
Today, Vice President Kamala Harris standing side by side with President Biden, their first official event together since Biden dropped out of the race.
Folks, I have an incredible partner. The progress we've made, she's going to make one hell of a president.
The two in Maryland announcing the lowering of prescription drug costs for those using Medicare.
No senior should have to choose between either filling their prescription or paying their rent.
Harris is set to unveil her economic policy tomorrow in North Carolina. A campaign official says the plan will lower costs for middle-class families and take on corporate price gouging. Today, Biden asked if Harris will distance herself from his economic plans.
She's not going to.
Former President Trump outlining his economic policy ideas yesterday.
She's waiting for me to announce it so she can copy it.
Trump says he wants to slash regulations, increase domestic energy production, and eliminate taxes on tips and senior Social Security benefits. Today, Senator J.D. Vance and Governor Tim Walz agreeing to a vice presidential debate October 1st on CBS.
I think we ought to do as many debates as we possibly can.
Trump and Harris agreeing to one debate so far, September 10th on ABC. And sources tell ABC News the Secret Service is making arrangements for Trump to have outdoor rallies using bulletproof glass around the podium. That comes after the assassination attempt in Pennsylvania. Perry Russom, ABC News, Washington.
And Donald Trump is also asking the judge in his New York hush money criminal case to delay his sentencing until after the November presidential election. In a letter made public, one of former President Trump's lawyers suggested that sentencing Trump as scheduled on September 18th, about 7 weeks before Election Day, would amount to election interference. Well, next week is a big one for Governor Beshear and other Kentucky Democrats, and WHAS11 will be right there too. Beshear, Mayor Craig Greenberg, and Congressman Morgan McGarvey will all travel to Chicago for the Democratic National Convention. Greenberg has told us that he submitted his delegate votes already, but will still head up for the vote in person. Senior reporter Isaiah Kim Martinez and senior photojournalist Alyssa Newton are heading up to Chicago, and will have coverage from the convention starting Monday. Well, starting today, we had the Kentucky State Fair, and Ben, we had some good weather for the fair out there today. As you can see, still looks good.
And hot as you would expect as well, Connie.
Yep.
The humidity is starting to rise a bit. You'll notice that as you step out. We are at 90 degrees. It feels like about 91. So we're starting to get that south breeze to bring in some of that muggier air, which will lead to some storm chances as well, especially early tomorrow morning. So right now, our temps range from around 84 to 90 degrees, depending on your location. We're at 90 in Carrollton, Springfield, 91 degrees. We've got mid 80s in Litchfield and 86 in Hardin. Showers are right now flying up to our north, heading towards Indianapolis, and there you can see that south flow bringing in, again, more and more of that moisture and muggy air. This is just tropical stuff out to our west. That is going to be moving our direction, so very humid for tomorrow, and that humidity will linger for a part of the weekend as well. So for tonight, during the late night hours, we approach midnight, there might be a shower or thunderstorm, especially for areas off to the southwest, but notice it is tomorrow morning that is going to be the wettest, with some storms that could pack some gusty winds, lightning and thunder, but the severe weather threat is low for us, and we actually need that rainfall. So that's why we have our weather impact alert day for our Friday. Mostly dry though by the afternoon. Tomorrow, this is at 4 p.m. Our temperatures topping out here in the mid to upper 80s to near 90 degrees. Again, we'll have another weather impact alert day for part of the weekend. I'll show you what that means for your weekend plans coming up.
And as mentioned, the sweet sounds of the Kentucky State Fair. The fair began this morning with the Commodity Appreciation Breakfast before the opening ceremonies. It's the 120th Kentucky State Fair. The commodity breakfast helps honor the different areas of agriculture across the Commonwealth. And even though Louisville may not have a ton of farms, Mayor Greenberg shared the agriculture efforts we're making in our city.
Here in Louisville, we're committed to supporting agriculture however we can. In fact, we just recently started a new urban agriculture and community garden program. So if there are ways, if you're not from Jefferson County and you're from one of the other 119 counties and have an idea to partner with us here in Louisville, we want to be your partner. We want to help get your products onto the shelves, into our great restaurants.
Elected officials from all areas of Kentucky's government were helping dish out the meal, like Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg and Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman. And after everyone had a nice full belly, it was time to open up the fair. And this year is a focus on number 120. There's the 120 counties exhibition, of course. And this year, there's more participation than ever in the pride of the counties. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear helped open the state fair, sharing how special this event is.
You see kids laughing. You see families making those memories. You see people who haven't seen each other in over a year come back together and make those incredible memories.
And after the speeches, the ribbon was cut to officially welcome patrons to the 2024 Kentucky State Fair. Looks like fun out there. If you're trying to go to the State Fair tonight, the inside exhibits are open until 8 o'clock, while the outside and Thrillville close at 10 o'clock tonight. And we've got details on ticket prices, parking, and everything in between in our Kentucky State Fair guide. Just text the word FAIR to 582-7290, and we'll send that link right to your phone.